The Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, on these fast-moving developments. They've been good, you said, the gang of informing the Gang of Eight about what's going on. Where is Vladimir Putin, and what do you think is next?
Well, regardless of what happened here, Putin is much weaker. And Putin seems like a different person, but I've always believed Putin to be like a mafia boss, and you're watching it today. Putin would have never let Prigozhin get this far or continue. I mean, Prigozhin, this wasn't a secret. He was publicly criticizing Putin, criticizing the military.
Putin, but he would never mention Putin's name.
Yeah, but he said the leadership. And remember what he put out just a couple days ago. The whole entrance into Ukraine was a lie and lying to the people. And you watch the people rise up and support Prigozhin. And for his ability to get that close to Moscow without the Air Force taking him out, that's got to be scary.
What does it say to you that Vladimir Putin is in hiding now? He's not coming out, but contrast that to Zelensky. He was out in the streets. He's like, come and get me.
I know,
but leaving my people.
You know, Biden saying, I'm sending you a helicopter to get you out to Zelensky says, no, send me weapons.
Yeah.
And Putin hides. I mean, Putin has been doing this he's isolating himself. He's slow to make decisions. He's just not the same when you watch him. And you watch that Russia is not a constitutional government. I mean, it is really just an illegal
collection of warlords.
Yeah. There's the oligarchs and others paying for it, and the corruption, and they're finding it in their own military, the corruption they spend on it. They don't have the military weapons they need, and it was a mistake to go in Ukraine. What really needs to happen here is President Xi of China needs to back away from any support to Russia. That should be a clear sign to him, too, and change.
But he's not.
He's not. But
he might look at this,
but
though,
the world leaders should pressure President Xi.
The mob boss, as you described him.
They are.
Not as tough as he was just a week ago.
No.
Mr. Speaker, I want you to watch Ted Cruz, who works across the building from you. He has a podcast, and here's what he had to say over the weekend regarding Hunter Biden and his use of the WhatsApp app. Watch.
This WhatsApp is direct evidence of Joe Biden abusing his government power to enrich his son and assuming 10% for the big guy to enrich himself. Remember, this WhatsApp says, we want to know. This is not me, Hunter, just sort of mooching off my dad. This WhatsApp directly ties Joe Biden to the millions of dollars coming from communist China. It is possible Hunter Biden was lying. It's possible Joe Biden wasn't next to him. It's possible Joe Biden was not going to inflict official damage on the Chinese if they didn't pay him and his son millions of dollars. That's possible. But you know what? We don't know if it's true or not. Why? Because according to the whistleblower, they didn't investigate and they were prohibited from investigating.
Right. And so, Mr. Speaker, the WhatsApp thing essentially said, hey, this is me. It's Hunter Biden. I'm sitting here with my dad, and you better pass as quickly as possible. Also kind of sounding like a mob boss. But what he's calling for, what the senator's calling for, is for essentially the wheels start moving toward an impeachment of Joe Biden. Impeachment start in your department.
Yeah, but I'm happy Ted is catching up to what we've been doing since we took power. I mean, the whole reason you have the WhatsApp message is because the work the House Republicans have been doing, not just in Comer, not just in Jordan, but this was in Ways and Means under Jason Smith. These are IRS long-term workers who've been through it and watched the abuse of power of how Hunter Biden was treated. I mean, they even waited to get the 6-year statute of limitation off where they Burisma money he didn't get charged for, some of the highest prosecution. They want to have a special counsel, and now we're seeing that the DOJ, the Attorney General declined that, even though he's saying something different. So we have requested by July 6th Weiss to come in to answer these questions because the IRS whistleblowers took copious notes during those meetings. Comes back with the date, the 6 people in it, and he took these notes, but he emailed everybody back. This is what was said during the meeting.
So will you have both there? Will you have Weiss there and Shapley there, who came forward, the IRS whistleblower?
The thing people don't realize is every single day we're bringing people in. This is why you're getting this information.
Maybe not together?
This is why you have the bank statements now. This is why you know about the 1023. This is why you know about WhatsApp. We're continuing to do our information much different than anybody else. I wish none of this would ever happen or go forward with somebody in elected office. Right. But now we found the president has lied to us. He said they never dealt with anything in China. Now the whistleblower says that he was in a meeting with a Chinese company as the vice president. We now know that they got millions of dollars. It came through shell companies. The 1023 that was warned to the FBI, that was never given to the IRS whistleblowers that was investigating Hunter Biden, and it would have put good information.
Brian was asking this question last week. Why did he only have to pay $100,000 on a $1.5 million for taxes?
Because the U.S. attorney slowed down the prosecution making that decision, so you had a 6-year time frame where he should have been punished much more, and another $400,000 on the Porsche somebody else bought for him, that Burisma, where he literally says he only got that for political purposes. Well, he had that paid to somebody else, sent it to him as a loan. I mean, he did everything corrupt that trying to get around paying taxes.
Just so you know, Miranda Devine says that Joe Biden met with his business partners 12 times. 12 different times and 12 different deals, perhaps. So it's according to Rob Walker, who was in on all this stuff, good friend. He's all over the laptop. So will this prompt you to do an impeachment inquiry?
Well, you apparently don't follow me on Twitter, because yesterday I laid out very, very clearly by July 6th, because of the allegations from the IRS, because of the whistleblowers and the DOJ, are Garland, what he is saying and what David Weiss are saying privately are two different things.
Right.
And if it comes true what the IRS whistleblower is saying, we're going to start impeachment inquiries on the Attorney General.
Well,
because as a matter of fact, it shows that.
And so it would be great if you had, call your panel, you've got the whistleblower, you've got the Attorney General, and you've got the U.S. Attorney.
Let's
because
see who's
they're
telling
all
the
three
truth.
saying different stuff.
Yeah, but what's interesting is the IRS whistleblower that has no political background took copious notes, can tell you the date, can tell you the people in the meeting,
and
so we could hear
so
we could bring 6 other people in. And the U.S. Attorney, you said this here, but the Attorney General says something different, said you had all power and you did not.
So ultimately, you know, people are looking in, and it looks suspicious.
It's more than looks suspicious.
Well, I understand, but given all the stuff you've uncovered so far, have you found Joe Biden broke any rules, any laws, or does it just look fishy?
Well, it's more than looking fishy. The family created companies when he was a VP. You get 1023 saying people had to pay them to get influence. We now see foreign governments have paid. If you create a company, why wouldn't you have an office? Why wouldn't you create something? Why do you get paid by shell companies and forward it to other shell companies, then to go down to pay family members that never work into it? None of it smells right. None of it is right. They talk about the big guy, but I believe firmly we have to have a constitutional reason of where we go, and we want to follow the facts wherever it takes us. Every day we're finding new facts. Let's find out the total truth.
Are there people behind the scenes that know more about this, like their accountants? Someone had to do this for them. Most Americans don't know how to set up a shell company.
The hardest difficulty here is there's people in the administration that's holding back from providing the information. I had to call Christopher Wray to give us the document that we have the constitutional right to oversee. And then he only wanted to give it to one Republican and one Democrat. The entire committee deserves the right to know it. But they never provided it to the IRS whistleblower that was investigating Hunter Biden. And then they got removed because they came forward with the truth.
So let me ask you something. In 2019, also in these documents, according to the whistleblower, the FBI knew the laptop was real. In 2019, in the fall, Donald Trump was president. So, and you're part of leadership. Did you guys know about this laptop? That there was even an inquiry into it? Did you know it was handed over? Did you guys know it was real?
We didn't know. I was sitting in the minority. Did not know. But the real challenge.
Why did the FBI not tell you guys? Isn't that something that should have got to your level?
But that is why when we took the majority, I created a select committee on the weaponization of government. Because of all these things that have happened. You want to make sure your government has a check and balance. But what's even worse, you had 52 people, former CIA directors, people at the very top level echelon, sign a letter.
9 months later.
Directed by now our Secretary of State Blinken to tell the country that this was a lie about this laptop. You know what we're going to do in the appropriation? We're going to remove their ability to have the Intel waiver to be able to go look at other documents.
They don't get the secrets anymore.
They shouldn't. If they're going to use their position to lie to the American public for political purposes, they never should have gotten there in the first place.
It's amazing. So the big question is, you have a slight majority right now in the House.
5 seats.
5 seats.
People think it's really big at
That's why you're helping That's why you're helping in New York, because New York and California to help deliver the House to you guys.
You know the thing that no one quite realizes? Nancy Pelosi was Speaker for 4 years. I was leader for 4 years. And in those 2 election cycles, we gained 5 seats in California and 5 seats in New York.
Right, and
she lost the majority in her own home state.
Well,
she never won a seat. She never gained a seat as Speaker.
Right. I'm glad you brought her up. Yeah, she was on with Jen Psaki. Watch this.
Now, you are known for many, many things. One of them is being an excellent vote counter.
Yeah.
Do you think Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker at the end of the year?
But let me just say this. One thing I am is strategic. And when I'm strategic, you have to know what you're talking about. I have no idea what goes on in their caucus, but I do know one thing. In January of 2025, Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker of the House.
Oh, so were your ears burning when she said that?
You know what? The one thing she should know is I will never give up for the American public. We have not lost since we have been leader, and we're going to gain more seats because the other thing, too, is we've elected more Republican women than any time, more Republican Hispanics than any time, more black Republicans since Reconstruction. We're winning in seats from Oregon to Arizona, down along the border. I think people care about the policies, inflation. They want their borders secure. Parents want to have a say in their kids' education. They want to be energy independent. These are all the bills that we have passed since we took the majority.
So how do you feel, how much does who the nominee is have to do with you keeping the House?
The nominee does matter, but let's think back to this. When Joe Biden won president, not one Republican lost. That hasn't happened since 1994, and we beat 15
in the House.
In the House, and we beat 15 Democrats.
Right.
So you know what? We have pretty good candidates.
Will your governor get in the race, Gavin Newsom?
Oh, he's craving to. I mean, Californians want him out of California, but we don't want him to do the same damage to our country.
Yeah, he's a disaster. George Santos, are you a part of his re-election campaign?
No, I am not.
Right.
No,
So
he shouldn't run for
have you
re-election.
done anything for that seat to try to get a Republican in there?
Oh, we're gonna keep that seat with another Republican. Yes, we are.
All right. Anything else you want to say before you go?
I just think this. As we go through, we're going to follow this investigation wherever the information takes us. And all the information you're getting is all the work we've been doing since the very day we got in.
They don't have confidence in it because so much happens to the right. If this were Donald Trump, they would be investigating this tooth and nail. And they
but they would be done with it in 6 months.
Right.
And it takes them more than 5 years, and the statute of limitation goes away on Hunter Biden.
Will you promise the American people you will get to the bottom of it? If he has been corrupt and done something illegal, we need to know about it.
Not only do you need to know about it, the country needs to know so it never happens again. This shouldn't be political. This shouldn't happen on this watch, and they should not use government to cover up anything that they have done.